seen your pictures.
Yeah, but those don't go into like that system, right? Because they're like special. Yeah, that was the crazy thing about 9/11. Like, I distinctly remember because like I grew up, you know, really close to the airport. You know, I grew up right off Wright Road. Grew up with planes flying over my house like every 2 seconds. That's one of the things that I could tell a difference in. Like when they grounded planes for a week, like not having planes fly overhead. Man, that was creepy. That was weird. I was a sophomore in high school when 9/11 happened. So I was like, I was sitting. I still remember I was sitting in biology class, and then they came over to the PA and announced it. And then we had TVs in our room, so some of the teachers like turned on their TVs. I remember my history teacher was like this gruff old man. He was like weeping in class. It was like weird. It was weird day. All right, that's what lighter now. Let's do statistics. Number 1 here. I'm just going to go through the review. If you have any questions, please stop me. This is not going to take us the whole period. This is just, we'll get through this, and then we'll be done, and then we'll take our assessments tomorrow. Okay, so number 1, create your own example of a population and decide a sample of that population. Somebody give me their example of a population of something. Will.
Students at Lake High School.
Students at Lake High School. Good. Students of LHS. Okay, so what is your sample? If that is your population, what is your sample?
Sophomore students.
Sophomores. Good. Sophomores. Good. All right, sophomore students of Lake High School. That is a subset of that population, right? Good. Okay, somebody else give me another population that you used. Brandon, what did you use?
I used the same one.
No, you did not. You copied off his paper. Carter, what did you use?
Students at Lake.
Okay, what did you use?
Frogs in Ohio.
Frogs?
Sure.
What a fun example. Frogs of Ohio. Okay, so what's your subset? What's your sample?
I'm not sure I did it right, but I put frogs from Northeast Ohio.
Oh, that's totally fine. Frogs in Northeast Ohio. Good. All frogs of Ohio, and then just a subset of frogs from Northeast Ohio. Well, what'd you use?
Football players. My sample is linemen.
Good, yeah. All football players. And then sample would be just the linemen. Right? Good. Yeah. Something that I should point out here. Remember, whenever we state our population, make sure you use the words all or total number of, or something to designate that you're using all of those things, right? And then a sample of that would just be a subset, whatever you choose to be the subset of that thing. Good. Number 2 here, identify the population of the following survey. Be specific. Our recent survey showed that 70% of single fathers in Ohio consider themselves to be financially secure. Okay, so what did you say for the population here?
All of the single fathers in Ohio.
Good, and make sure we give all of those descriptions too. All single fathers in Ohio. I remember from the first semester, things that I had to take off points for is just people saying the population was all fathers of Ohio, which is not technically true, right? My survey was suggesting that we just showed that 70% of the single fathers in Ohio, right? Single fathers in Ohio. That's the population, okay? Or just something. I remember somebody said all single fathers. Single fathers of Ohio. All right. Number 3 here. Determine whether each data set is a population or a sample. Okay, the names of all custodians at Lake High School. Population. Keyword there. All. Population. And B here. A survey of 5 out of all the high school principals in Stark County. Sample. Yeah, keyword there, survey. Right, and there are many more principals than 5. right? 5 is just a subset of those principles. Good. Determine whether each numerical value is a parameter or a statistic. All right, the average height of the Cleveland Cavaliers' entire roster. Parameter, right? That's a parameter. Parameter. Right? Don't think, oh, but it's only the Cavs, it's not the full NBA. But be careful there. We're saying all of the heights, the entire roster of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So if my population is Cleveland Cavaliers players, then that is a parameter, right? Part B there. The average cost of 5 randomly selected cars at a dealership. Statistic. Right? Statistic. Pretty simple there, right?
Because I have 5.
Yeah. Yeah. What would my population be of that?
All the cars.
All the cars at that dealership, right? So if I choose just 5 cars of that dealership, that's a statistic. That is a sample of that population. So therefore, we're considering that a statistic. You know, if I chose, because the population is all Cleveland Cavaliers players, if I chose a sample and I said, okay, I'm only going to look at like 3 of those players. Right? I'm only going to look at one special position of those players. That would be a statistic rather than a parameter. Determine whether the data sets are qualitative or quantitative. Remember, the qualitative, that has some sort of quality to it. Quantitative, think of the word quantity, think of number there. The years that the Pittsburgh Steelers won the Super Bowl. Quantitative, yeah, quantitative. Right, quantitative. List of Lake student ID numbers. Yeah, be careful. Even though it is a numerical value, that is still qualitative. Qualitative. Because you got to think any number that is assigned to something, like it is just a label on something, which a Lake student ID is just a label of a student. It's basically like your name in numbers, right? If I changed your name into a numerical value of your name, that's still just your name. It's still just a qualitative piece of data. And that's why an ID is still just a qualitative piece of data, just a numerical representation of your name. Part C there, average numbers of hours of sleep.
Quantitative.
Obviously quantitative, yeah. Quantitative. And then list of favorite movies of students. Qualitative, obviously qualitative. Good. Again, difference between quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative is a numerical value, something that has value. Qualitative is just characteristic, basically. List off the classifications of measurement levels and provide an example of each one. All right, so there are, we start with nominal, right? Nominal is just something that, just in name alone, all I'm doing is grouping a set of things, right? There's no order to it. Once we add order to it, it becomes ordinal, just as the name implies. There's nominal, then there's ordinal. Once it reaches the ordinal level, I can rank things. I can put things in order. I can put them from greatest to least. I can rank that, put them top 5, things like that. That would be ordinal. Now, those two can be qualitative, still can be quantitative as well, but these are where the qualitative data lie. Now, once we get from ordinal to interval, that's when we can start to add in the quantitative. Nominal order or qualitative, once we jump to interval, that's where it's quantitative. So interval level, remember, interval level is where I am stuck at 0, meaning just a number on a scale, not necessarily a value, but just a number on a scale, right? Just a placeholder, basically, for, not necessarily meaning 0 of that thing. Once we can state that 0 means something there, that's when it bumps to the ratio level. Once 0 actually means 0 of that thing, then I can say that that is a ratio level. Remember, interval level, where it gets its name is that the intervals mean something. The difference between the two values can mean something. And ratio gets its name because I can compare one to the next by dividing them and actually say, well, it's this, 1.5 times as much, or 3/4 as much, or 1% more than. Right? Okay, so somebody give me an example of a nominal set of data. What's an example of a nominal set of data?
Different types of paint.
Paints. Good. Different types of paints. Types of paints. Good. We talking about like colors? Like blue paint. Good. Eggshell. Glossy. Anybody else want to give their nominal? Brandon, what do you say?
List of movies.
Movies.
Flavors of ice cream.
Flavors of ice cream. Now, what's your ordinal?
Ranking. Your favorite flavors of ice
Yeah. Ranking top. Well, let's say top flavors of ice cream. Top flavors of ice cream. What is your favorite ice cream?
I'm kind of like a Oreo chocolate dude.
Like chocolate Oreo?
Yeah.
Or
ice cream with an Oreo in it.
ooh, that's good. I'm a cookie dough kind of guy.
Cookies and cream.
I'm gonna guess Luke is like vanilla.
That hurts. No,
What's your favorite ice cream?
I don't know. Probably like
Vanilla.
peach. No, not.
Peach?
I don't know.
Whoa.
I had it in Florida. It was really good.
Wow. Luke,
I'm different.
how are you? Kylie, what's your favorite ice cream?
I'm pretty versatile, but I guess like a double chocolate type thing.
Ooh, yeah. Well,
Depends where it's from.
almost heaven.
Oh, coffee caramel crunch from there.
Wow.
Their peanut
That's
butter is
specific
good.
too. Their peanut butter. Okay, yeah.
Their peanut butter.
Almost
is
heaven's
good.
peanut butter. Yeah.
Probably favorite, lemon from Strickland's.
Really? Ooh, Strickland's. That's a good one too. Gabby, what do you think? Favorite ice cream?
Chocolate. I'm not a big ice cream person. I know it's like
Okay, so if you had to eat a dessert, what would it be?
brownies.
Brownies.
That's
Ice cream on a brownie?
I mean, I won't say no.
I mean, that's like one of the best desserts for me. You want warm brownie, throw a
They sell that-
Yeah.
dollop of ice cream on there.
Dollop.
I think they sell that at Dairy Queen. Something.
it's good stuff.
But the brownies aren't warm. You know, gotta have a warm brownie. What about what's this thing they sell at BJ's Brew House?
Oh,
Hazuki.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are good.
those are good. Kate, favorite ice cream?
Mint chocolate chip.
Mint chocolate chip. Well,
Anything like double chocolate fudge brownie.
interval. Somebody give me their interval set of data. Kylie, what's your interval set?
I said the years that I went on vacation.
Got it. Years on vacation. Yeah, a good example of interval is years, temperature, things like that. Those are the easiest ones to pick out. And then ratio. Now this is a very broad case. There are not many types of examples that when I'm creating quizzes and tests, I struggle to come up with interval sets that are different. But the ratio ones, that blows it wide open. So somebody give me ratio level. Brandon, give me your ratio.
GPAs of students.
Good.
Like
GPAs of students. GPAs of students. Good. Questions on that? We good? All right, so now let's define the set's level of measurement. Level of measurement. And again, don't get tripped up on, always focus on, what am I asking here? If I say levels of measurement, that's nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. I don't want you to confuse, okay, am I going to respond back with cluster? No. Level of measurement means nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio. So what is the birth years of math teachers? Birth years of math teachers, what would that be? Interval, right, interval. Time. Number of workers in an office building. Ratio. Average high temperature in the month of December? Interval. Yeah.
What if it's 0?
What'd you say?
Doesn't matter if it's 0 degrees.
0 doesn't mean 0.
Right. Could I go negatives?
Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore that's interval. I struggle when I say can it go negative because negative things can be ratio as well. Well, I don't want to get into too much of that. I don't want to complicate things for you. Cartoons in the local paper. Nominal. Favorite cartoon right here. Far Side. It's famous. This famous Far Side cartoon where it's this kid. He's going into a building and it says, what's it say up at the top? Something like "School for the Gifted," and he's like pushing on the door, and right above it says "Pull." Mr. Laverick's top 5 favorite TV shows. Ordinal.
Is that a real top 5?
I just kind of threw that together. Those are I'm sure. Man, Lost when it was coming out in its prime. Oh my gosh, I was on the edge of my seat watching that every Wednesday. Me and my roommate in college, we would get the Wacky Wednesday deal at Hungry Howie's, and it was like beat the clock. You at 6 o'clock, they started taking orders. Whatever time you called, that was your price for a large pizza. So like 6:01, you paid $6.01. So you could call right away, you get the pizza. But then it took like an hour to get there. But yeah, every Wednesday night we would order Hungry Howie's, watch Lost. Anybody watch Lost? Does anybody watch Lost?
I thought it was like newer.
I mean,
I didn't think it was like super old.
That was like 2007. 15 years old? Oh my gosh.
You were 3.
Oh. Watch Lost. That's a great show. Great show. I don't want to, oh my gosh. Do yourself a favor and watch Lost. I don't even know what platform it's on. Will, what's up?
You think it's better for a show to come out weekly or for the whole season to come out at one time and have to wait like 3 years for a new? That feels like how things are now.
I know.
Less of
Like,
a
that's
week,
it's
1
like-
week.
I want, like Ted Lasso. We watched all the Ted Lassos and it's like, just give us a new season already. We watched it last summer. Come on.
Yep.
Great show too. Ted Lasso is a good show. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know if that breaks the top 5. But Lost.
No, it's not on Netflix.
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu. Do yourself a favor, watch Lost.
I don't really like watching things on Hulu. It's just those ads.
Really?
It's rough.
House is really good too. House on Netflix, I think. Doctor Show. That's a good one. Seinfeld's definitely on Netflix. Office, what's that on now? Peacock? Yeah. Great British Baking Show. One of my new faves. I don't know if that gets the 5 spot though. I feel like there's better shows that could have come out. All right. Answer the following questions concerning different sampling techniques. Okay. When I say sampling techniques and methods of data collection, tendency is to try to think of those as the same thing. Watch out. We got to keep those separate. Sampling techniques, like when I went down here, methods of data collection. That's more like experiment and survey and simulation. That's what I'm talking about there. Methods of data collection. What I call sampling techniques, that is the more cluster, systematic, those types of things.
Do we have a word bank?
No.
Multiple choice answer.
Word bank. Describe one strength and one weakness of a survey. One strength and one weakness of a survey. Okay, what's a strength of a survey? It's easy. Right? It's very easy to execute. What's a weakness of a survey?
People lie.
Yeah, people could lie. People, maybe you might not ask your question in the best way. You could get biased results, right? You don't get great results if you're asking an opinion survey. Right? Describe one strength and one weakness of using a systematic sample. What's a strength of a systematic sample? Truly random. Truly random. Can't get more random than a systematic sample. So what is a weakness? If it's truly random, what would make it a weak? What's a weakness of a systematic?
Not representative.
Yeah, may not be representative. Chances are that it's representative, but it may not be representative. Like what? Oops, I did a systematic sample and it came out all male.
Oopsies.
You know, it's statistically speaking, it's the probability is low that that's going to happen, but it could. Discuss a potential negative consequence that can occur from using an experiment that is not performed blind. What would you say for that? What's a potential negative consequence when you don't perform an experiment blindly?
Patients could report false feelings of the medicine working.
Exactly. Yeah. Or if you know you're getting the placebo, you're not, you're not getting it. That could affect what you're thinking.
Would you call that the placebo effect to answer that question, and it be sufficient, or do you want?
I mean, it depends on how you worded it, because you can use that within your argument. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You'd be able to say if you're taking a placebo and you have fixed thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, you might have preconceived notions, right? That's what we can say about that. One way or the other. If you know you're taking the placebo, or if you know you're not taking the placebo. If you know you're not taking the placebo, then you're going to expect something to happen. Your body may just naturally do that. Mr. Laverick wants to know how many dogs the average Lake High School student has. He decides to separate everyone by math class and then randomly sample 5 students from each of those math classes. Which sampling method did I use? Stratified.
Could you say convenient? It's a little convenient for you.
All math class.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I should take that word. Maybe I should take that out. Separated by math class and randomly sample.
I just
I could see it.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's more stratified.
Yeah. I'm getting at it. I want you to say stratified. Because I'm separating into groups and I'm randomly selecting from those groups. Yeah, it is convenient because you know I'm a math teacher.
Just change it to English class.
Yeah, if I said Mr. McCoy, capital C,
Capital C lowercase.
capital C, then lowercase?
No,
Lowercase capital.
Okay. If Mr. McCoy, well then, is it convenient for him that he's separating by math classes? No, so that's more stratified. All right. For each of the scenarios, state which method of data collection you would most likely to use to get the best results. And again, there is an argument to be made for different levels of data or different methods of data collection. But I am looking for the ones that you would most likely use and for the best results. Okay. If you feel like you need to explain your answer, then explain your answer. You want to know what people think about what should be done about the national debt. What would you use? Survey. That's the best way to do it. You can get a wide variety of people. If I'm truly talking about the national debt, very easy to use a survey. Call people up. Call people from California. Call people from New York. Survey. Part B there. You want to study the effects of certain medication with different dosages on its patients. Experiment. Right. Experiment. Could you make an argument for an observation?
Depends.
Yeah, you could make an argument, but would that give you the best results?
Nope.
No, because you're not in an observation. There's no control, right? There's no control group where you can compare the treatment group to. Part C there. You want to find out the average time students go to sleep at Lake High School. Survey.
Or observation.
See, yeah. Survey or observation. You go to the person's house. 902, yep. Funny story, little tangent here. So me, Mr. Marco, and Mr. Westfall went to the Texas Instruments conference one year. You know, like Texas Instruments, like calculator.
That's a thing.
Oh yeah, it's a thing. So we went to the conference one year, and there was the year before. We had a great time, but the year before, Mr. Marco and I hadn't gotten a job here yet. Mr. Westfall, Mr. Marco had gone. We only needed one hotel room. They just, they used it. They were in the same hotel room, right? So Mr. Westfall woke up to Mr. Marco like this over his bed. He's like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, oh, nothing. Sorry. Went back to bed. The next morning, he was like, "What were you doing?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I sleepwalk." So he woke up to Mr. Marco just standing over top of him. Oh my gosh.
Wait, so what goes down in this Texas Instrument conference or whatever?
Imagine what you think would go down there.
Is it in Texas?
Multiply by 10. The one that we went to was in Chicago.
That's tragic.
I know. What a lost opportunity.
Some point.
Where is the T? It's the
Just
T3 conference. Let's see where it is this year. Maybe I should go.
It's in Ohio. We should
T3 conference 2023. Where's it at? Tampa? Join us in Tampa. Should I go? Oh, it's during Pi Day.
that is perfect.
What? Maybe I should go.
No, we gotta celebrate by then.
Yeah. I'll be here. You want to examine the behavior of freshmen in an Algebra 1 class.
Observational.
Yeah, observation. No, I switched to all caps. You want to study how fast a certain disease will spread if introduced into a crowded city. Simulation.
Or experiment.
Or experiment, right? An argument could be made.
I'm just saying.
All right. Good. Okay. Consider the following example. We want to study Algebra 1 OST scores of schools in Stark County. Give an example of how you would perform a cluster sample, stratified sample, systematic sample, and convenience sample. Okay, so cluster. How would you perform a cluster sample? What would you do? Matt?
Take like one class from each school or something. The entire class.
I would say do it. I don't know. I might disagree with you there. Because am I sampling from all different types of crowds? Yes. Yeah. I only want one group for a cluster sample.
All D1 schools in Stark County?
Good. Yeah. All Division 1 schools. Oh wait. No. Wait. No. Okay. We got to think of this differently.
Pick one school.
Pick one. Right. See now. I guess I could have that argument if I said, okay, the Division 1 schools, the big schools, and I only picked them. Then I would have to choose all of those, right? I wouldn't be able to just pick and choose out of those schools what students I use, right? So I would say study all students from Division 1 schools. I'm only going to take the big ones, but I'm going to pick all of them. I have to, for a cluster sample, I have to pick all of those students within those Division 1 schools and study those, right? No, we're saying all Algebra 1 OST scores, right? So I say, okay, I'm going to take all Algebra 1 students from the Division 1 schools in Stark County, and I'm going to focus on those. Does that make sense? That's a true cluster sample. Yeah. Here's the way I think of it. If I'm studying all Algebra 1 OST scores of students in Stark County, just take Lake High School and use all of our data. all Algebra 1 scores from Lake High School. That's a cluster sample. Okay, so stratified. How would you perform a stratified sample? How would we perform a stratified sample? Got it?
Is it 100 kids from every school?
Good. 100 Algebra 1 students from each school. Good. That is a stratified sample. You get some from Lake, some from Hoover, some from Glen Oaks, some from Northwest, some from East Canton, some from small schools, big schools, and you get 100 students from those. That's stratified. Systematic. How would you perform a systematic?
Alphabetically, like order the kids and then pick every third.
Good. Alphabetize. Alpha.
That's a big word.
Is that spelled right?
Yeah.
Alphabetize.
Alphabetize. Pick. There's no E in the end of the word pick. Pick every third student.
Why do you dot some eyes and not other ones?
I don't know.
Well, that's just the wrong version of I. There it is.
You'll also notice that if you're very observational, sometimes I do twos like that. Sometimes I do twos like that. And I have no idea.
Do you put the bar on the 7 now?
7, no. Because you know what I do? On the Z's, I put a little bar.
How do you draw
You
one?
can't do one and not the other.
Yeah, you
though.
can do both.
Right, F of X.
Yes.
Okay, Carlos was talking.
Oh, yeah. I have a fancy way of writing f of x.
What?
My calc teacher picked that, or my calc professor started doing that, and I just picked that up. F of x. It's fancy.
Carlos was saying he doesn't like that now.
Fancy. But if I'm writing it,
You give the F a forehead.
you know,
In the scarf.
a little flourish, if you will. Okay. And then lastly here, a convenience sample. I guess to truly find a convenience sample, we have to know who we is, right? I guess we are assuming that we are this class. So what is a convenient, if we are this class, what is a convenience sample?
Just said only surveying honor students or something like that, but that seems like it could be for something else.
That might be considered a cluster, you know, because you're separating students into a category and you're taking all of those honor students. You know what I mean?
Ask the kid, does he leave like the class?
Yeah. Ask Mr. Laverick students as they leave the class. You know, if you guys are the statistics class, if we, as categorized in this question, are the students of this statistics class, a convenient way to perform this survey would just be to walk into my classes and say, okay, what's your OST scores? Right? Questions about that? All right. Are there any questions about anything on this review? If you do have questions, feel free to come up top. We'll go through anything that you may need. Other than that, the time is yours to relax. Enjoy the day.
I don't think I do tomorrow.